Hello class. All right, so today I'm going to show you how to subtract using the standard algorithm. All right, so first things first, let's take a look at our first problem here. We have 513 minus 241. So I'm going to set this up vertically as 513 minus 241. So I can already tell by looking at this problem off the bat that I'm going to have to be regrouping here. So I'm going to draw my lines so that way I'm not being lazy. Ones, tens, hundreds, and now I'm simply going to start solving. Okay, so let's take a look at our ones place. Remember, you always start in the ones place, then work your way over to the left. So we're going to do 3 minus 1. So 3, 1 minus 1, 1 makes 2 ones. All right, so let's look at our tens place. You have 1 minus 4. Okay, so we have 4 tens, which is 40, and then we have 1 10 here. So what are we going to be doing? Well, in this case, we're going to be regrouping. Okay, so the thing with regrouping is that you are simply taking one unit from the next unit over and bringing it over to make additional room in the new place that you're trying to regroup from. So in this case, I cannot do 1 minus 4, but what I can do is go over to the next unit, which is my hundreds place. I can take 1 away from the 100. This becomes a 4, and now I'm going to take a 10 and put it in front of this 10. So now I have 11 minus 4, okay? And I know that 11 minus 4 is 7. All right, so now I have 4 minus 2, and I know that 4 minus 2 in this case is going to be 2. So my answer here is going to be 272. Alrighty, now let's look at the next problem we have. The next problem we have is 760 minus 546. All right, so let's see how we're going to set this problem up. I'm going to set it up vertically in standard algorithm. So I have 760 minus the 546. Remember, I always like to leave a little space in between my numbers to draw my lines to make it easier for me to regroup. Alrighty, so now let's look at the problem. I have 0 ones minus 6 ones. I can't do that. So I'm going to go over to the tens place and regroup, meaning I'm going to take a 10 away from here. This becomes a 5. And now that I took a 10 away from there and moved it to my ones place, I now have 10 minus 6. And I know that 10 minus 6 is 4. Okay, so now I have 5 minus 4, which makes 1, and then I have 7 minus 5, which makes 2. Okay, so remember the only thing we did here is we took a 10 away from the tens place and we brought it over to the ones place to make room for a new 10. Alrighty, that's the process of regrouping there. And let's look at this last problem here. So the last problem is 506 minus 435. Alright, so I'm going to set this up. 506 minus 435. Okay, now remember, math is a story, and so you can tell yourself a story to help you figure out the process of regrouping here. All right, so when looking at this problem, my ones, tens, and my hundreds, I'm going to see, well, can I do 6 minus 5? I surely can. I can do 6 minus 5 in my ones place, so that is just 1. Now, I cannot do 0 tens minus 3 tens. Why? Because 0 is a small number, and remember, big numbers is usually what goes on the top to help us do subtraction, but in this case, it isn't. So I'm going to use the process of regrouping, which means I'm going to go next door here. I'm going to take a 10 away from this number in the hundreds place, and this becomes 400, and I'm going to move this over to my tens place. So since I took 100 and moved it over to the 10, now I have 10 minus 3. And I know that 10 minus 3 makes 7. And now I have 4 minus 4, and we know that that equals 0. So we're not going to put 0 in front of a number because there's no such thing as a 0 starting a number off, okay? So in this case, we have the answer of 71, all right? And that is how you use standard algorithm to subtract numbers up to 3 digits.